Hey everybody, it's Mike. I don't make too many videos, but I decided I'm going to make one today because I didn't see one on the internet that was similar to this. And what I'm doing is working on a 2009 Chevrolet Impala. It's the 9th generation Impalas. They're just a good old car. They're good cars, great cars. In fact, I think the 9th generation Impalas. I've been around a lot of them, and I think they're the best car GM ever made. They're just dependable. They're simple, safe, good gas mileage, just good all around, and they're cheap. A car like this is $3,000, tops. 2, 3, 4,000. You can buy pretty much any of them, and they made them from 2006 to 2016. They even made those for 2 years, 14, 15, 3 years. They made them right alongside the 10th generation. They only sold those to like fleets and stuff, so they were really good cars. Unfortunately, they don't have backup cameras or any of that, so that means they were going to be obsolete pretty soon. Anyhow, what happened was this is a car that my daughter had, and we wanted to get her she wanted to get a different car, and so I just thought I'll just bring it home and sell it back here in Iowa. And so anyway, we met up, and the air conditioner quit on the darn thing, and so I looked on videos on YouTube how to diagnose chest or whatever. I'm no mechanic, I can figure out how to diagnose, but I realized that the charge on the air conditioning system is in very good shape, very good. So there's nothing wrong with the charge, and so when the first thing I did was check, and I got a blown fuse. And the fuse is right here. The relay for the air conditioner is right here. Oops, sorry. The air conditioner fuse is right here, and the air conditioning relay is right here. The fuse is this 10 amp right below it, this red one, and the power comes in here and then goes over to the output on the right side. So that's how it energizes the clutch. And so I replaced that fuse, and it just immediately it popped. It kicked on for just a second, and then the air conditioner did, and then it blew it. So I thought, well, I'll just try another one. Sure enough, blew it again. So obviously I know that there's either something wrong with the wiring between the fuse and the clutch, or the clutch itself is bad. So anyway, we had to drive back for 6 freaking hours from Nebraska with no air conditioning on the hottest day of June. At least up to that time, it was 86 or 7 degrees. It was not pleasant, but we made it, and it was how the world works. So anyhow, what I decided to do is, and I did this while it was running, I unplugged the air conditioning compressor, which is right here, and you'll see this right here. See this black wire? That's the power wire that comes from that fuse, and the green is just a ground. I don't know where it goes exactly, I don't really care, but it just plugs right into that female receptacle right there. And so I unplugged that and put a new fuse in it. This has been days ago, and because I had to order parts, and so I unplugged that, put the fuse in, didn't blow. And so then I plugged it back in, blew the fuse. Did it a couple times, like, okay, that clearly means that the wiring is good. I wiggled it around, so it's clearly the clutch is bad. So what you can do, if you didn't want to do it that way, I had bought a power Autel Power Pro some time ago. I think engine's still warm. I had bought a Power Pro, and I thought this would be a good place for it, just to test it. And you could actually unplug that 10 amp fuse. And of course, you could energize that and do the same thing without blowing fuses all the times. And I also have a fuse or a circuit breaker jumper, which these are super cool when you ever need them. You can do this, and then you can put your circuit breaker right in on top of it. And now these correspond to the terminals that are in there. And so this is actually the terminal that feeds that fuse. You can't see it now hardly, that red fuse. And so you could energize it this way too. These are pretty darn cool. You don't use them very often, but boy, when you need them, they're pretty handy. And then you can tell if you got power and everything in the right places. So I would recommend owning a set of these. They're cheap on Amazon. These little fuse breakout boxes is what I'd kind of call it. Circuit breakout box is not a fuse. So anyway, I was able to do the same exact thing and could tell that clearly that there's nothing wrong with the wiring. So we're just going to put that back. Maybe. Boy, this one-handed stuff is kind of tricky. I'm pretty impressed by all those YouTuber guys who do it one-handed. All right, so there we go. And these circuit breakers, these ones that are 4 pins like this, there's no up or down to them because it's crossed like this, so it doesn't matter. I typically always put them in so the numbers are right side up. That's just because I'm kind of particular about stuff, but you don't need to. It doesn't matter. So you see the numbers are right side up. That way, if it's upside down, I know somebody else has been in there and done something with it. So anyhow, you could certainly use your little odd-tail thing, your Power Pro. They're very nice. You can test for ground with them real easy. That's ground. You can check for power for stuff. You can obviously feed power to things, and you can feed ground to things. It's just, they're pretty slick. You don't need them. You don't need it to do stuff or to do testing, but it's pretty handy. So anyhow, with that in mind, I decided that, well, I'm going to have to replace the clutch, right? And so there was a YouTube video about a guy who had an air compressor on the ground, and he replaced the clutch, but none in the car. And still, I didn't know if I'd have enough room, but so here's where it is from this angle, and you can clearly see. So there's the clutch, and I got the belt off. Let me get back up here. The belt, first off, there's 9 different pulleys on this system, and you want to make sure that you draw a very good diagram, and which I've already done that, obviously, and I've already loosened the belt up, as you can see, and you'll use you should have a nice, this is one of the nicest tools for what it's used for, is this gear wrench, ratcheting, torsion, or torque bar for removing the tensioner, and it just fits down here in that little square right there. You see it right there, and then you would just do that. I think it's awesome. These are one of the best tools I've ever bought, because otherwise you're struggling all the time. They're nice and long and strong. So anyway, you just make sure you get the belt marked, get the belt off. Oh, and the best on these, they have this tank, and it fits down, this little slot fits right down into here, right there, and then has these 2 screws. Get that out of the way, and that's what it's for. Just get it out of the way, make sure it's leaned up so it doesn't leak out. And so anyway, so now we're down here to the business end of the thing. And of course, there's the clutch. We'll switch hands, I'll go right-handed. So I've already had this off, so everything's loose, because I didn't want to fight that because I'd waste too much time. So you take this bolt out, I think it's a 25 or 30 Torx, whatever. And you see it's bent because I hit it a few times. It was because I was trying to shock this when I was taking it loose. We're not going to reuse that anyway. So, and then I ended up getting a longer bolt that I could hit on better. So anyhow, that comes out. And then you just throw it right down in your ice cream bucket, because if you eat ice cream, you're gonna have a lot of buckets, and they're great for storing stuff. So you take that off, and then I got some screwdrivers, and you get in between the clutch faces. Then you see that's flexible. And I got one on this side, and I had one on this side, and just drove them in until I bent the living crap out of this whole clutch thing. And who cares? We're obviously replacing it. And so got that pried out, and it's really far. And I just couldn't get it. You can see this is all bent. And I almost came to the point where I think I'm just going to grind these pins off. You know, I can put my 3-jaw puller on here and pull it off. But I kept working it and working it and working it and working it. And by gosh, if it didn't come out. And it come off real easy there. This took me probably 30, 40 minutes to get this thing off. And you can see that it's splined. It's not, and I thought it might be a taper fit, but it's actually splined. And you can see I've cleaned this, and there's still rust kind of coming out of there. So then you take that off, you throw it in your ice cream bucket, and the next thing is, I already took it off, but there's this snap ring right here that holds this, the driven pulley. It holds it on, so you'll get your snap ring pliers, and these are nice ones. These are channel locks, but it doesn't matter what brand. These are good ones. They're convertible, so you can do in or out, external or internal. And so then grab a hold of those little pins and pull it open. Take your snap ring off. Wear safety glasses. Never fart around with snap rings without wearing safety glasses, because they will hit you. So then, and this one actually came off pretty good. This is a slip fit. And it is coming off easier than it did, but it slides right off, just like that. Isn't that something? And there it is. And actually, the bearing's pretty darn good on this one. I've lubed this all up, so everything's coming apart way easier than it did the first time. But anyway, that pulley's really in good shape. But we're not reusing that either. So we'll throw that into our ice cream bucket. And next thing, there is one more snap ring that holds the actual coil. There's wires in here, and those will energize to make a magnetic field. And once again, I literally use the same exact snap ring pliers and pried them open, and then all that stuff holds it, and unhook. Make sure you unhook your plug, of course, and then this just slips off, just like that. And that's your ignition or your coil, clutch coil. See, it says 12 volt on it, and obviously there's a short in there or something. So then you throw that in there, and now you're to the point. Now what you want to do next is what I recommend highly, oh yeah, here we go, is first off, I sprayed it down with some brake clean, choke, who cares, brake cleaner, choke cleaner, something like that. And then I have a old bent screwdriver that I use, and you want to make sure you clean those snap ring grooves. Those need to be sparkling clean, because there's all kinds of corrosion. You can look at the rest of this engine. It's pretty grimy. It's got 170,000 miles on it. What do you expect? And it's a lot cleaner now. You can see all this kind of corrosion here. That was actually in here too. And so you'll clean that snap ring groove, and I want that clean. It has to be sparkling. And then this snap ring groove right here, it has to be sparkling. I want that sparkling clean. And then you'll take some Scotch-Brite and you'll rub the heck out of that. You want that surface to be clean, and you want for sure where the surface, the mating surface, where that stuff fits down, that has to be smooth. Just like a brake hub or a wheel. You don't want that to have corrosion in there so it sits in there cockeyed. You want it to go down so it's just perfectly square. So you get that all nice and clean, and it takes a while. I'm just doing a quick one. And then you make sure you just spray her off and make sure it's nice and clean. Get all that corrosion and crap out of there. And so now you're ready. Actually, we're pretty much ready for the install. So, yeah, and I got this AC compressor clutch kit. Got that on Amazon, I think. It's the part number for it for this 2009. It's only for the engines, the Impalas with 3.5 liter engines in them. At least that's what they said. So that number right there, and it was like $50. A new compressor is close to 300 or more, depending on what you buy. So I've already got them out of there. So here's my new clutch, and here's my new driven pulley, and then here's my new clutch face. So we'll take this whole ice cream bucket full of stuff down here, and then we'll take this old junk one and we'll just throw it over there. Now, one thing, well, first off, I'm gonna do this just to show you. I'm not gonna put everything together. So first thing we would do is we'd put that in there, and then I would get my snap rings. It's got a new snap ring. It's got new snap rings that go with it, and you would put it, oh, maybe it's the other one. Must be this big one, this one here, yeah. So you'd put this one on there, at least I think. Yeah, so you put that one on there. And then you would put your, well, this one-handed stuff is a pain. So then it's got a new bearing. Oh, and you want to spray this down with some lube, some Tri-Flow or some kind of stuff. Just, you want things to be nice and lubricated. So then I've got my new pulley, driven pulley, and you'd slide it on. And it's a slip fit too. There we go. And this is it's just a slip. Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah. Did that wrong. That's what happens when you're not putting it together. There we go. That's better. This wasn't on there right. All right. And you should put obviously the snap ring on. It wouldn't have this problem. So there we go. See now how it's perfect. And you can see your snap ring groove. Now everything's beautiful. And you're ready for your new snap ring, which would be, that's a big one. Sheesh. Okay, yeah, this one's a kind of weird looking snap ring. The same thing. You put it on. And so then next thing is it gives you these two shims, two spacers. And I've already tried it together, and on this car, you just need one of them. So what you'll do is you'll take your clutch face that has the splines in it, and you'll take it and you'll put one of those down in that hole. I'm really not good at one-handed stuff. Okay, so then you drop it down in there. Boop. There we go. And yeah, it's in there. And here's where it's really going to be tricky. We'll lean that up against there. And so to keep it, sorry about that, you put the bolt in so you have that shim inside there, and it's not going to fall out tip over while you put it in there. And so then we're going to put this, and we're going to put it right on there. I'm going to obviously take this back apart, but I wanted you all to see how to do it. So then put this in there till it's nice and snug. Obviously you'll tighten this all down, but I've got the surface so clean that just finger tight's going to tell you what you want. Okay, and you can see that I obviously have some clearance. You can see that movement right there. So we'll get then wherever I put that. I had it around here somewhere. Oh yeah, here. my feeler gauge. And I got it 18 because I know that one's actually is at 18. Sorry for the camera shake. And you'll see right there, this gap right here. See that gap? Right now it's right at 18. Just right there. And the gap, according to the internet, is 16 to 24. 16 to 24. So 18 is going to be just perfect. So then what I would do is just I tighten that down and then hook your wire up, and you should be good to go. Obviously, I should have checked this first, in all honesty. Yeah, it's going to plug in. That's one thing I learned a long time ago. You always check your plugs, because if it's the wrong year or something that may not match, and rather than getting it all apart and back together and then, holy cow, the plug, not just clutch, but anything you put in, check the plugs to make sure they match up, because if they don't match up, something's not right. So anyhow, I think that pretty much covers it. I had to take out in the trunk, I had to take out the inner fender, this whole inner fender here, and the whole front valance, which is up here from the front bumper, to access all that. But once you get that all off, it's not too bad. I've done a lot worse jobs, and so I'm probably, we're getting pretty close to wrapping this up. Basically, hopefully I've given you some guidance on this, and it'll help anybody that's working on these things, because these cars there's a lot of them on the road. And I think even the newer, or the ones that have the 3.6s or the 3.9s, I think it's basically the same concept, just the compressor may be slightly different. Obviously it is, because they say the clutch is different, but I think the location is basically the same. Relatively terrible, but not as bad as I've seen sometimes. So anyway, with that, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I can't think of anything else. I wish everybody all the best out there, and if you're ever working on an old Impala, you got a pretty good card. So take good care of her, and she'll take good care of you. So anyhow, thanks for watching, and best of luck on whatever project you're working on next. Take care. Oh, this is Mike. See ya.